Let me ask you something straight up. What if the real power isn't in what you say, but in what you don't? What if silence isn't weakness, but a weapon, a blade forged in discipline and tempered in pain? Most men panic when she pulls away. They pour their hearts into long texts, beg through mutual friends, spiral into the chaos of overthinking every quiet second. But not you. Not anymore. Because the most dangerous man in her world isn't the one begging for another chance. It's the one who doesn't blink, the one who doesn't explain himself, doesn't plead, doesn't reach out to hold on but walks, not out of spite, but out of clarity. Not to hurt her, but to protect himself. There's no drama in your exit, just presence in your path. This isn't about playing games. It's about rediscovering self. Because when you no longer chase her, what she feels isn't validation, it's void. The absence of your emotion is louder than any words you could have spoken. Silence becomes your language, and it screams, because the man she expected to react, to plead, to wrap himself around her world, simply stopped orbiting. You didn't ghost her. You grew. And in that growth, she's left staring into space that used to be filled with your attention, wondering why it now feels so heavy. Wondering why your silence sounds like something she can't ignore. Silence isn't nothing. It's not empty air. It's a mirror. And it's in that mirror she sees herself without your validation, without your reassurance, without your presence anchoring her. The silence makes her question. Did she overplay her hand? Did she assume too much? Your stillness becomes the thing she thinks about late at night, when the world quiets and the mask falls off. It lingers. It stays. Because unlike noise, silence doesn't fade, it echoes, and she's hearing it now. Asterisk, you let her win. Let her have the last word. Let her initiate the distance. Let her convince herself she ended it on her terms. Fine. Let her have the illusion of victory. But while she's holding the trophy, you've already left the stadium. You didn't fight to keep what was never truly yours. You didn't argue to prove your worth. You let her win a battle you had no interest in continuing, and that haunts her more than a war ever could. She expected pushback, expected to feel, needed expected resistance. But you gave her the one thing most men never do, peace. And peace terrifies those who are used to power through chaos, because you didn't storm out. You stepped out, quietly, cleanly, and that space you gave her isn't empty, it's echoing. Not with your voice, but with her questions. Was he really that grounded? Did I misread everything? Why does it feel like I lost something I told myself I didn't need? She thought she was in control. She thought she could walk away, and you'd trail behind her like the rest. But you didn't. You vanished not in bitterness, but in mastery. You let her take the last word, the last jab, the final scene, then you rewrote your story without her in it. And now she's realizing that sometimes the real loss isn't about who walked first, it's about who never looked back. She may have blocked you, deleted your pictures, erased your name from her feed, but what she can't delete is the feeling that you didn't flinch, that you didn't beg, that you gave her what she thought she wanted, and walked with your dignity intact. And nothing is more unsettling than realizing the man you thought you broke never broke at all. Asterisk. You didn't just pull back. You turned inward. You stopped explaining, stopped justifying, stopped pouring yourself into a situation that drained you. And instead of collapsing, you started constructing. While she waited for the usual pattern, your return, your message. Your vulnerability, you were somewhere else entirely. Not sulking, not plotting, but rebuilding. You poured your energy into your purpose, into your body, your craft, your circle, your silence. And that silence, it wasn't avoidance. It was alignment. Because the moment a man chooses progress over pain, he becomes something else entirely. He becomes unreachable, not out of arrogance, but out of elevation. You stopped waiting for her to understand your value and started living in it. That kind of focus, that internal shift, is something you can't fake. And it doesn't go unnoticed. Especially by her, she feels it. Even if she never speaks it. Especially if she never speaks it. Because feminine energy is tuned to masculine direction like a compass to magnetic north. And now that your attention isn't orbiting her, she feels the difference. You're no longer a planet caught in her gravity. You've become the sun, distant, radiant, centered, impossible to ignore. She remembers the way your calm made her feel steady, the way your restraint made her lean in. But now all she feels is the space, not cold, not cruel, just unbothered. And that is where curiosity replaces comfort, because now you're not reacting, you're not accessible, you're not bending. You've become the version of yourself that she never got to fully know. The man who stopped seeking approval and started seeking truth, and in doing so, you've become what she thought she wanted, but never expected to lose. A man rooted so deeply in himself, she can't shake him because she can't reach him. Asterisk, she thought she'd moved on. Thought your silence was just a phase, a tactic, a temporary standoff that would eventually break. She believed you'd circle back like most do, sending a message, liking a post, trying to reopen the door. But that day never came. And every day, it didn't. Something inside her started to shift. At first it was pride, then confusion, then doubt. Because silence only works as a punishment if the other person is still waiting to be let back in. But you're not waiting. You're not paused. You're progressing. And in your progression, you became a question she can't answer, a mystery she can't solve, chapter she didn't finish, yet can't reread because the book is no longer in her hands. You didn't pull away to manipulate her. You pulled away to protect what was left of you. But your silence has a ripple effect. Because when someone is used to controlling the narrative, the one thing they can't handle is unpredictability. And you became unpredictable not in chaos, but in clarity. You didn't lash out. You didn't beg. You disappeared into purpose. And in doing so, you became the unresolved thought in her mind. The one she replays in quiet moments. The one she checks on without admitting it. Because now it's not just about the loss of you, it's about the loss of what you represented. That calm, that emotional safety. That steady presence she didn't recognize as rare until it was gone. Now, she's scrolling back through old texts, looking for signs, trying to decode your silence like a puzzle. But there's nothing left to read. You're in a different chapter, and she's not written into it. That's what burns the most. Not that you left, but that you didn't invite her into who you became. Asterisk, you don't need closure. You became it. That's the truth that most people never reach. Because closure isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. You didn't need an apology, a confession, or some dramatic moment of accountability to move forward. You didn't need her to explain why, to express regret, or to suddenly realize your value. You simply stopped needing anything from her at all. And in that detachment, in that decision to stop hoping for what you once craved, something powerful happened. You healed. Not loudly, not publicly, quietly, in the spaces she used to occupy. In the hours you used to waste overanalyzing every word, every silence, every shift in energy, you took those moments and reinvested them into yourself. And that's why she feels it now. That difference, that distance. That new version of you that doesn't flinch when her name comes up, doesn't pause at her picture, doesn't wonder about the what if. Because the old you, the one who waited, who would have replied, who needed answers, is gone. You didn't just move on. You outgrew the entire version of yourself that needed her. That kind of transformation can't be undone. That's why when she finally circles back, whether it's through a message, a memory, or a casual, "How have you been?" she won't recognize the man who responds, if you even respond at all, because you're not standing where she left you. You're not stuck in the past she created. You're already deep into a future she no longer fits into. And that, right there, is the closure. Not a conversation. It's not a final chapter. But the realization that you didn't just survive her absence, you thrived in it. You became complete. In the silence. And in doing so, you made yourself untouchable. Not out of revenge, but evolution.